what's going on, guys? Alright, so I'm going to try to get this video done quick. Number one, I don't want the neighbors' little wiener dogs to go on hiatus and try to get through the fence and kill me like always. And number two, it's about 65 degrees outside and I'm going to sweat my ass off. So, let's talk about cold weather gear.
Okay, the worst place for me when it comes to cold weather is my feet. My feet just apparently have poor circulation, so I need all the help I can get when it comes to cold weather gear for my feet. I do apologize, the little dog's in the background barking. I'm in my backyard today, so I can't really do anything about that. Now, comes to the boots and everything else, I'm not going to get into brands or all that good stuff. I will tell you that the boots that I've got on my feet have roughly about 400 to, I think they're around 400 grams of insulation in them. So they are very warm by themselves. Now underneath the boots, I have one pair of very thick wool socks. Now you can fit 2 pairs of wool socks underneath your boots if you want, but the one thing that I strongly recommend that you do not do, and here comes the little bastard wiener dogs. Alright, now before I was driven off by the attack wieners, I was discussing the wool sock. Like I was saying, you can wear more than one wool sock, that's fine. But the thing that I strongly recommend you do is not make the same mistake that a lot of new outdoorsmen make, or hunters. A lot of people make the mistake by taking about 6 pairs of cotton socks, putting all those socks on, and then stuffing their foot into a boot. Number one, that cuts down on your circulation of your blood flow on your feet. The other thing is, while you're driving to your location or walking to your tree stand or blind or whatever it may be, your feet are going to sweat. That sweat has nowhere to go in that cotton because it doesn't wick it away. You get to your tree stand or your blind, you sit down, you're there for about 45 minutes, and the next thing you know, your feet feel like they're about to freeze off. So please, definitely don't make that mistake.
Alright, so then you're down to your pants. Now, underneath these pants, these are 100% wool pants. I think they're World War II issued pants. Underneath these pants, I have a layer of polypros. Now, if you guys don't know what polypros are, it's just a base layer made of polyurethane. And I tell you what, as far as a base layer goes, I don't think you can get much better than a good pair of polypros. One thing to remember though with these things is when you wash them, don't put them in the dryer, because when you pull them out of the dryer, you're going to pull out a nice wad of plastic. So definitely don't put those in the dryer. But good base of polypros followed by a nice pair of wool pants. Alright, now as far as a base layer for a top goes, all that I'm wearing right now is a long sleeve fleece undershirt. And fleece is, I'm not trying to say that fleece is better than wool, but I tell you what, it's a lot more comfortable. And for me as a base layer, I will definitely choose fleece or polyester over a wool blend any day, just because of the comfort factor. It does wick the moisture away from your skin as well, so it does a very good job as a base layer. Again, it's more of a personal preference thing. If you prefer wool, then by God, go with wool. Now, I said that fleece is nothing more than a polyester. A lot of people don't understand that polyester and fleece are actually the same thing. The fleece is nothing more than a texture, not the material itself. So, another thing that you can use besides this is the polypro. I don't really care for the polypro as a base layer, simply because of this. That annoys the heck out of me. So I will definitely stick with the fleece undershirt. Like I said before though, when it comes to the socks, the same holds true with an undershirt. Cotton, bad idea. So those cotton long johns and everything else, throw them out or save them for a work day out in front of your house or something else, because as far as in the woods go, or camping or hiking or anything else go, cotton is horrible for the winter. Most of you guys know that. And after the base layer, I will put this layer on. This is more of a medium layer. This is actually a wool shirt, so you can see that I do like wool. It's not a matter of synthetic versus natural materials. I like both.
So I will definitely always wear a wool sweater or shirt in this case, you know, as a medium layer. This you can find these types of shirts at your Army surplus stores or gun shows or anything like that. This is 100% wool. I do believe these were also World War I or World War II era. I'm not entirely sure on that, so please don't hold me to that. Alright, and after that wool shirt, most of the time you can get away with just simply throwing on another fleece jacket like this, or a heavy-duty wool jacket like this one. Now in dry and extreme cold areas, you might want to use both. You might want to use the fleece jacket as well as the heavy-duty wool jacket. Now when it comes to keeping your head and your face warm, I simply like nothing more than a good old wool cap and a wool scarf, or maybe a buff or something along them lines. But it's very rare that you need to actually keep it up there, here in Kansas anyway. When that wind gets blowing, it's nice to have something to put over your face, but most of the time you don't necessarily need it. Gloves are a simple choice for me. I stick with the wool liners. Most of the time that gets me by just fine. For colder times, I will use a wool mitten, and if it starts getting really cold, I will take my index finger and my thumb finger and keep them in this section here and keep that circulation going and that warmth radiating. Now in the bitter cold, if those wool mittens just ain't quite enough, I will go ahead and add the shell. These are I believe they're called the GI Trigger Mittens, and these things are very, very warm. Most of the time if I'm sitting idle though, again, I'll pull my finger and my thumb out and put them in the middle part, keep that heat going, keep all that warmth in that spot, keeps my hands nice and toasty. Alright, so now that you're nice and warm on your legs, on your upper body, on your hands and on your head, let's add a little bit of snow or a little bit of rain to the mix. Now what are you going to do? You're going to need a shell, you're going to need an outer layer, something that's going to protect you from the elements, something that's going to protect you from the wind, as well as the cold weather, as well as the rain or snow. Alright, now the first thing that I always go for is a good old pair of frog togs. These things are lightweight, you can actually roll them up, store them in your bag, no problem at all. They've got a hood on them as well, and they're very, very cheap. You can pick these things up brand new for a jacket for about 30 bucks at Walmart, and I'll tell you what, that's a good price. You really can't beat it. They absolutely work fantastic. Now if you want one of the best shells available, you're looking at a Gore-Tex top like this. I got this Gore-Tex top at a local Army surplus store. These things generally run about 60 bucks in a place like that. If you're lucky, you can find them, you know, at a really good sell price. I also have picked up a few of these tops at the gun shows for about 25 bucks. When these things first came out, Gore-Tex was first introduced, this stuff was very, very expensive. I'm talking hundreds of dollars. Now, when it comes to Gore-Tex, there are people out there that like to claim to be Gore-Tex, and they are not Gore-Tex. A good way to know you have, and my wire is getting in the way. Let me show you on my pants. I showed this before on my GI modular sleep system video. But a good way to know that it's authentic Gore-Tex is on the inside of the seams. It will say Gore Seal, or excuse me, Gore Seam. Alright guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video on cold weather gear and the things that I choose. I'm not saying that these are your only options. Choose what's best for you. Only you really know what your climate is throwing at you or what your area is throwing at you. You might adjust from wool to more synthetic blends. You might adjust from synthetic blends to wool. It's all really personal preference. But this is kind of what I like to stick with. So if you guys have any questions,
or tips or tricks from me, go ahead and please leave me a comment. Like I said, feel free to ask any questions that you might have. As always, guys, have a good one.